Nobody move.
Nobody gets hurt.
I'm Nick G.
I'm Mike D.
And this is Good Cop, Bad Cop. This episode of the Good Cop, Bad Cop podcast is proudly presented by the New Solutions Network. Where powerful stories ignite transformative change, we dive deep to reveal unfiltered truth shaped by grit and resilience, illuminating even the darkest corners. Have a story to share or want to sponsor a show that drives real impact? Reach out to the New Solutions Network. This isn't just media, it's a movement. Visit us at newsolutionsnetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Pop McCann Whiskey, smoothest drink in the land. Grab your bottle today at popsmccannwhiskey.com. Also like to thank Friends of Martina White. Visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina has been doing as state representative of Pennsylvania. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond Creative. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com or call 267-362-WEB1 to discuss your project. And our title sponsor, AR Law, arjusticenow.com. We fight so you don't have to. Adams Renzi Law. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet. You get military and first responders discount. That is Morrow Flooring. You can go to goodcopbadcoppodcast.com. Click on his link for more details. All right, welcome back. This is Good Cop, Bad Cop Podcast. I'm Nick G.
I'm Mike D.
We got a great episode lined up, but first we have to address the elephant in the room. I'm very concerned and worried that my co-host is turning into Liberace, and it's okay. Whatever your sexual preferences are this day, I mean, everything is included, and DEI and LGBTQ plus. Your sisters scratch my nuts,
right? So
right?
So you're getting a little concerned. Is that
a little bit?
All right, listen. Let me explain something to you. Everybody has to have a shtick. Okay, you can't just be the dirtiest. You can't just be the dirtiest cop in New York City history. You have to be a little bit more. So I come with a little more.
Dude, you already have a shtick. You don't need to add to your shtick. Unless there's some lines in there.
Listen,
that we
have
share.
An interesting guest today. Let's get to our guest and stop worrying about my jacket. All right? God damn it!
You got any Coke in there?
Don't ask questions like that on air. Of course not. You sick puppy.
All right, let's get to our guest.
That's something a typical cop question to me. You know, he's got Coke on you every freaking where I go. Anyway, so Ian Cannon, my buddy. My favorite boxer in the world today, and probably we've been friends now over 10 years, Ian and I, and there's a lot. We have a history together, and we want to just introduce Ian. Ian, come on in, say hello to the crowd and our fans and everybody. And give us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, so I am not your typical boxer. I'm actually a wheelchair boxer. Yes, that is a thing. I don't know if I'm knocked out or if it's Mike's jacket, but I'm seeing stars a little bit. I'm not sure. But I started wheelchair boxing here in the U.S. about 18 years ago.
So you're
organized
the founder.
A league
You're the founder.
I'm sorry.
You're the founder of wheelchair boxing.
Here in the States, yes.
Wow. Okay. Good. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And it was a fitness program. Then we instituted a competition element, and I've worked with some of the greats, Peter Welch, Freddie Roach, Micky Ward, list goes on. I mean, I've had a very blessed career and been able to do what I wanted to do, so it's been a great ride, and I'm happy to share the story with you guys today.
So tell us, Ian, because people are going to ask, why are you in a wheelchair?
I have cerebral palsy. I was diagnosed at the age of 2. It was going to be basically every parent's worst nightmare. Nonverbal, cognitively impaired, visually impaired, and by the grace of God, I developed, normally at least cognitively speaking, I did have.
That's debatable because you are friends with Mike Dowd, so your cognitive abilities are questionable.
Well, that's actually just decisions.
At the most.
It's just choices. That's has nothing to do with his cognitive skills. Choices. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we've got to take care of our own. That's the way that I look at it.
So dude, that's the hardest I laughed on the show.
Son of a. I have some cognitive dissonance. In fact, I may even run for president, like the last guy.
Zing.
But it was every parent's worst nightmare. And by the grace of God, I developed normally, and I always wanted to be active. PT wasn't fun. So, as Mike will tell you, I have a habit of doing things in extremes.
To say the least.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
he's such a pervert.
But it's so I found boxing through watching the movie Cinderella Man. Begged my parents to let me go to the gym. Took 2 years. My mother finally consented. Then my parents divorced. I moved in with my father. He recognized the physical benefits. Fast forward 3 years. I'm off all medications, training 6 days a week, and working with some of the best fighters in the world to show the physical benefits of boxing. And then I started competing.
Now, how old were you when this process began? Not of course, at 2 you were diagnosed, but I'm talking about when did you get involved in the boxing, at what age, and so give us a little timeline.
14, and I had my first fight at 17. And
did you fight a guy in a wheelchair, or?
What we did was we did sit-down exhibitions with ex-world champions for 2 years. Then, by the grace of God, I found phenomenal manager and promoter Al Valente, who recognized the merit in this sport, and Al was responsible for Micky Ward's comeback in 1994. He was one of the architects of that, which led to the great
who doesn't love Micky Ward?
Yeah.
I mean, what a story, right? What a story. In fact, I have actually had many I don't call it, but he is a guy. I don't chase people, but he's a guy I'd love to meet one day because his story, what he overcame, what he went through. His brothers. He has quite a big family. His mother doing that benefit for, I guess it was for him or his brother. I forget. I think it was for Micky, right? His mother did a benefit for him and did a whole gathering and a showing of his fights and stuff like that. Do you remember that?
That was Dickie.
That was Dickie. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure.
That was Dickie in the beginning.
Okay.
And but I know the entire family.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful people. But we met Al, and I said to Al, I want to fight. And then we met great referee Steve Smoger, may he rest in peace. And he developed the rules for wheelchair boxing using the WBC handbook and the USA Boxing handbook and adapted them to sitting. Got me an IBA title shot. Now the next job was to find the right opponent that not only would be willing to train and fight, but would match up to me physically. Because one of the things that we do that's different than able-bodied boxing is it's not two guys in chairs want to fight, they sign a deal, and it's good to go. They have to get medically approved by the doctor of the athletic commission of the state that they're going to see. So that doctor takes them on as a patient, looks at all of their medical history, it gives it the rubber stamp, then the contract gets signed. We did that. I was promoted by Rich Cappiello and Lou DiBella, and just when we were about to get the shot, we had some promotional issues, and the fight fell through, and it took years to get it redone, and by then, I realized that I was in my 30s, old and slow, and recognize that my role would be as a voice for the sport and a way to reform the sport and be the Dana White of adaptive combat sports, if you will.
Nice. Fantastic.
He's such a good promoter himself, isn't he? He just rolls it right out there. He laid out the whole line. This is why he's my friend, okay? You know how I'm a off-the-cuff guy?
Uh-huh.
He's not. I mean, he can be. He's done a few things off the cuff.
Oh, here he gave you one of the best zingers in our show history so far.
But he's got the one-liners, but he's very methodical. Obviously, being in a wheelchair has given him the, the adaptability to be able to process things differently than guys that use their feet, the guys that move physically. He does things. He plans everything. He plans everything he does. And like when I had a conversation with him the other day, he says, "Well, I need to know what time because I have to have somebody here with me to make sure that I'm ready to go." Right? Didn't you said I have to see if I got to give my guy overtime. I have to pay my guy overtime for the day or not.
Yeah, the whole thing about the disabled life that nobody realizes, which makes it so adaptable to fighting, is we are strategic thinkers. We plan ourselves down to the minute, 3 minutes at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time, and we have to have a game plan for everything that we do.
Yeah. In your boxing career, have you ever been knocked out or knocked somebody else out or been pretty hurt?
I've gotten my bell rung in the gym, but I was a very defensive fighter. I used the Mike Tyson peekaboo style, hands high. Defense was really my bread and butter, and I learned that from John Red Shea, another great fighter and trainer who has a great, interesting story as well, and his mentor, Tommy Connors, who had the fastest knockout in the Boston Garden. In order for me to work well, I had to move as if my shoulders were my hips, if you will. So
Gotcha.
defense was key to that.
Do we have any clips of him actually swinging, throwing hands that we could just throw in there so that people get an idea of what he was at? Because you showed me something before that, and I know Ian 10 years. We've done a lot of things together, him and I, and I'm not going to get into a whole scenario here. But the bottom line is, I've never seen him swing hands.
Really?
I've seen the Everlast bags in the house and all that. We've gone on road trips together.
I watched, dude, I'm already Eddie. I watched the YouTube fight.
Did you?
Both of them.
Yeah. Well, he needed to study you. I don't. I know you.
I didn't know. I told him. We talked very briefly. I said, he started getting. I said, I don't want to know anything.
Yeah, don't tell.
I want to hear about it in the podcast, and we'll figure it out.
Right.
Here we go.
So
yeah, sure.
So,
play some of it anyway. Yeah.
When Ian was a young man a few years ago.
Yeah, Ian, we built
myself.
when I was 18 and didn't know my ass from my elbow, but God, was I in shape.
Yeah, look at the shoulders on you, bro.
I used to be able to do 4 sets of 40 pull-ups a day.
Damn. So that's you in the tank top, showing off your arms.
Yes.
Yep, that's me in the red headgear, red gloves. Yep. And
boxing great, Tommy Connors.
that was when I won the Rocky Marciano New England Championship. I won that title twice. And
look at him talking down about how cute he was. You see how handsome he was? Now he's fat and old like me.
He looks like me. We look alike. I looked like that in 2010 too.
Yeah. Look at him going. This is a treat, Ian. This is a treat. I've never seen you swinging. I mean, I've heard your mouth go off on a couple people.
oh yeah.
Was the guy?
I have the Irish temper, to be
What
sure.
was the guy that was trying to rob everybody? You remember the story?
when we were at the
we
were at the Cape.
At the Cape, yeah. That guy threatened you or something.
That's good stuff.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he ran the debt collection. He's the debt collection guy who's trying to put a pact together for Trump or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I think his first name was Steve.
Yeah. The Jewish last name, like Rosenstein. Or I don't want to say that wasn't his name, but something like that.
Yeah, and he went off and
threatened you.
Mr. Billy Badass threatening a guy in a chair. What am I supposed to do? Be scared?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Hike my interest rate up?
Yeah.
Take away my frequent flyer miles? Get out of here.
Yes. Let me ask you this question: did you think of this? What about this lady Crockett? What she said about Abbott in his skadoodles?
Hot Wheels.
His Hot Wheels running around. How'd you feel when you heard that? I mean, listen. You could take a punch, so I know it. It rolls off. Everything rolls off you. But for people that are afflicted.
Well, I think that the disabled community isn't represented correctly, and I think no matter where you fall on the aisle, left or right, I think that there are certain things that don't have a place in the political conversation, and I think that it really matters how we present ourselves, and instead of knocking him down and referencing his ability as a disabled person, why don't you reference what he did on the voting block or on the ballot?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time she went after him. She said, Governor Abbott's rolling up. Ha ha ha, a little snicker.
Yeah.
Like then the Hot Wheels comment. And, again, your boxing thing was called rolling. Was it rolling with the punches? That's.
But he's allowed to do that.
That's in fun. That's you. Yeah, self-deprecating and making, not making fun, but making light of the sport, having fun with it,
drawing attention to it,
and promoting.
Right.
Right.
But he can say anything he wants about it. Yeah.
But when it's done in nastily, it's something different.
Yeah. Yeah. See, or let's go one step further. I can make fun of him about anything. I could say anything to him and pick on him any way I want. because I love them.
Right.
You know, and if
And because I know you.
Yeah.
well, that,
It's all- see, yeah,
that's-
exactly.
I wouldn't. Well, I might love you if I didn't know you too. But the fact is that I know you. I say things to him. I won't. I won't say it on here because I've actually listened to some of my videos, and some of the things I say, it bothers the shit out of me when I listen to it back because I'm in the moment. You know, Ian, how we just go off the cuff and stuff. You know.
Now,
Oh yeah.
I'm in the moment, and people take that, and they're sitting in their living room and listening to me, going, "I would never say that. I wouldn't want to talk to a guy who spoke like that." I'm
that's your shtick, not a jacket.
I don't want to turn people
Not
away.
Liberace.
I don't want to turn people away. I mean, because I did the Diary of whatever his name is, CEO.
CEO, yeah.
And I'm very disappointed with some of the verbiage that came out of my mouth. Even Ian, you actually listened to it, right?
Yeah, I listen to it, and one thing I love about Mike is he says what he feels. His heart's on his sleeve. Great guy, but in keeping with that, there is
But
some flaw.
I mean, you're just a passionate guy, and you gotta understand your passion. And for those of us that know you, it's easy to do.
well,
And for the
I'm
people-
disappointed in that interview. You didn't get a link to the damn podcast here.
Yes, I did.
No link on there. Oh, in the body there is.
Somewhere.
But
I don't. You
Yeah,
mean at the title? And
No,
stuff?
no. It's down in the
I
show
don't know. They
notes.
told me they put the
Yeah.
link. I don't
No,
know.
I'm talking about on Instagram. The clips they're doing is not linked this. Whatever is what it is.
Well, it should be what it should be.
It should be.
Yeah,
It
well,
should be.
I don't know. I don't know how to do that stuff.
I know you
Ian
don't.
knows how to do that stuff. That's when I need him to step in and, hey, Mike, boom.
You should be getting internet classes instead of new jackets. Learning how to do
This
this
is
shit.
easier.
How to work your Instagram.
This is a lot easier.
Mike,
Well,
post this.
that jacket does look a little bit like binary code 1s and 0s.
See,
so-
you're right. So I'm studying. As I look in the mirror, I see different things. So we have a funny story, and we don't get into the weeds on this, but Ian had a birthday party in a casino, right? By the way, who do you know? Who do you know that? Like, this guy goes to casinos and they know him wherever we go. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like,
Well, listen, we came in here. He says, "Who you have on?" I said, this
Ian
guy.
Cannon. He goes, oh, I know him.
I go, he's like, Ian Cannon? Really? Yeah, I know him.
I didn't know you did podcasts without talking to me first. What's up? What's up?
Bro, I gotta build the brand, man. And
You know
you're
it all
so
goes
busy-
through me. Come on. It all goes through me.
Well, I mean,
Nah.
you're so busy shopping for jackets. that I'm distracted.
You don't want to pull me out of Neiman Marcus?
No.
All right, so I want to hear the story. You guys are in a casino?
No, we had a nice. Listen, he throws it. They throw him. I don't know. The casino threw him a birthday party. What was the name?
All right,
What was the
listen,
name?
this is not a shot at you, Ian. Are you a big roller in the casino?
I am not a
You mean
big-
like
I
roller?
am-
He thinks
High roller.
He's messing with you now. You're a roller in the casino.
No, I barely carry my marker.
Okay. I hear that.
But he has a marker.
Yeah, he has a
He has
marker, which says a lot.
Yeah, it says a lot
Yeah.
more than me. I ain't got a marker. Yeah. So
You're a high roller if you
what
got
was
a
the
marker.
name of the casino we were in?
That was Foxwoods.
Foxwoods. Yeah.
One of our contributors who comes on our show regularly, which would be
One of our
Dr.
sponsors?
Yeah, Dr. Netanya, our title sponsor.
Walktel.
Wachtel, yeah. We got it right, Netanya. Dr. Netanya Wachtel.
Yeah.
You can check her out on Instagram. Go to newsolutionsnetwork.com. This is where you can go, you can get help marketing your ideas, your stories.
Connections.
Yeah, basically connections. What she does, she facilitates, the person looking to get their story out there to where it has to go. She's been featured on Forbes, plenty of other, high-ranking magazines.
INC magazine.
INC magazine.
Yeah.
She's the real deal. And if you're looking to get your product, your ideas, or your stories connected with other people, you go to New Solutions Network, and you'll actually, you'll be dealing with Dr. Netanya herself, and she is.
She has a staff, though, just so
She
you know.
has a staff, but everything filters down to her, and she is a firecracker. One of the nicest people I know. Very intelligent, highly intelligent. In fact, we won't talk about what product it was, but a recent weight loss product that is taking the country by storm. She's responsible for the marketing on that, and that could be you. So if you want, check her out, newsolutionsnetwork.com.
Dr. Walktel.
I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Martina White, Friends of Martina White can visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina's been doing as a state representative in Pennsylvania. Let me tell you, Mike, she's a big supporter of police. She backs the blue. She's a proven fighter for families, women, everybody.
Is she a patriot? Is she America first?
Absolutely. She encompasses, the American spirit for sure. We have a big population of listeners in Northeast Philadelphia, Southeast Pennsylvania, which would be her area. So you can check her out.
Has she been in? I'm not familiar with the Philly district. Is she new to the scene, or is she, looking for re-election?
She'll be up for re-election in a couple years, but she's been around for a while. She has a proven track record.
Okay.
You can check her out. Her record really speaks for itself, especially when it comes to fighting for everyday citizens and backing the blue.
It's nice to have someone back in the blue. I mean, the officers are out there risking their lives every day, and with little pay and little appreciation in today's environment, it's been very difficult. And as you know, being a Philadelphia guy,
unfortunately, it's something that's not common. Should be. It used to be a time where both sides of the aisle agreed on law enforcement, and that's something that's completely lacking. But with Martina White, she steps up to the plate, always has our backs, and does what's right.
Great. Good luck with Martina.
Yeah, you can get more information at votemartina.com. I'd like to thank our title sponsor of the show, Adams Renzi Law, AR Law. They can be found at arjusticenow.com. And just to let you know, I know both of them personally. Christy, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, total sweetheart, absolute pit bull in the courtroom. And Nick Renzi, he's a South Philadelphia guy, true and true, neighborhood man. He's for the people. He helps people out down in South Philly, all around Philadelphia.
Their office is in South Philly itself?
Yes, their office is in right around South Philly, Center City, right on the border.
Do they handle
there.
a lot of criminal cases?
They handle everything, absolutely.
Are they on call 24/7 for someone who might take a pinch somewhere?
Why, you might be taking a pinch
I mean,
that
you never know. I mean, wherever you show up, you got to be ready.
Well, you can keep their card on you.
Well,
Go to their
well,
website
well,
and call them up.
Will they give me a deal since they're sponsors of the show?
You might get a percentage off. I'll have to talk to her.
Okay. Yeah.
If you used them a few years ago, you might not have gotten 14 years.
Well, that's another story.
Another story for another time.
That's right.
Again, AR Law, check them out. arjusticenow.com. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond.0. In today's world, your business is practically invisible if you're not online. With so many options for marketing your business, it's easy to get confused. That's where Beyond.0 Creative steps in. They have the expertise to help you with all of your marketing needs. Need a website that wows visitors? They'll build it. Want to reach more customers with Google Ads? They'll make it happen. They'll even manage your social media so you can focus on what you do best. Beyond.0 Creative is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and Google Premier Partner. They're the real deal. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com. That's BIONDOCREATIVE.com or call 267-362-WEB1, Web 1, to discuss your project now. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet, military first responder discount. You know, Tommy, we had him as a guest on a podcast. You can get your flooring done by a real American hero.
Yeah, and he's on time and on budget.
Yes, he is. He will beat any price. Bring a quote, an estimate, whatever you have. Tommy will beat it. 100% guaranteed. You have our backing on that one.
And he'll be there himself.
Absolutely. You can get a real American hero do your flooring for you.
Yeah.
All right. So
what a
what
nice time. The manager of the place knew him. They set the whole thing up. We had cake. We had a gathering of people. We also had an individual there that met me, and boy, that was the worst thing ever happened to me since I'm home from school. Remember that thing? We don't want to get down to. I can't even talk about it, to be honest with you. But it turned out to be a future disaster. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
A future disaster.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. 3-4 years of disaster after that followed. That's
All
it.
right. So we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know is what is the wheelchair boxing up to today?
So now we're trying to get the league reformed, amateur approval in the U.S., and partnering with several gyms to create a rehab function as well. Because as much as fighting is fun, what we got to realize is we got to change the image of boxing and show its therapeutic qualities. Because I can fight for as long as I want, but what I want to show people is that this truly saved my life medically, and the value that it has as a therapeutic tool.
I mean, it's fantastic.
I like that.
Yeah. Have you been in talks with UFC by any chance? Or are you trying to stay more on the boxing side of it?
You know, Dana and I have a bunch of mutual friends. We've never met. I would like to.
So just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Dana.
What about the Barstool guy? What about Barstool from Boston? Isn't he from Boston?
Yeah, he's from Boston.
Dave Portnoy I have not met. He's another guy. You know, if he's watching, I'd love to sit down with you and chop it up and talk about how we can mutually grow our brands and market effectively.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Listen, I'd love to talk to Portnoy about the same damn thing.
Yeah, God damn it. Where the hell is he? Now, what do you got there? What's that beach on your shirt? What are you wearing? You got a little promo going? What's that?
No, I got my little Hampton Beach T-shirt. It's just a place the fiance and I like to travel to every now and then. So.
Oh, the Hampton Beach, not in the Hamptons, New York, though.
Not in the Hamptons, New York. We're talking New Hampshire.
Yeah, you're not allowed there without coming to see me first. You know that.
Of course I do, and Jerry won't have me up at his house. So
you got to check in.
That's true.
So where do you live today? You're in New Hampshire?
No, I live in Norwich, Connecticut. I'm about 10 minutes from Mohegan. So
okay. Everything's casinos with this guy.
I'm telling you, he's wrapped up in the casino business.
Yeah. Steve Wynn won't give me a shot, though. It's a shame.
Yeah. You know what? You could be a good maitre d'.
Maitre d', try pit boss. I want all
pit
the big.
Boss. He wants to be the pit. You know what? I could see you being a pit boss. You're just spinning around in that little zzz. Get the electric one going, though. Not rolling.
I'm in the electric one now.
Are you? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Does that transport well? Because I remember last time we had the lightweight one.
This one's much heavier, but it transports pretty well. It's much easier to tie down. And
okay.
Get to where we gotta get to.
Do you drive too?
I do not drive. I get driven.
Okay.
Mike has actually driven my car.
Well, it's not a car. It's a van.
You are ballsy.
Yeah. It's yeah. But you know, I live a very independent life, or at least I try to, and that's one of the things that I want to show people, particularly when I'm coming on your show, is that despite disability, we live normal lives. We want to work, we want to get married, we want to have careers and passions, and we want people to let us tap into those effectively and maximize our value, not only as human citizens, but our economic value as employees as well. Because my biggest passion, now that I've aged and stepped away from the ring, is executive level employment for people with disabilities. We're not all greeters at Walmart. We need to have more to our lives than that.
Amen.
Yeah. And you just give us an example of some of the jobs you've held in the last couple of years.
Well, I always keep a finger in the entertainment business, as Mike knows, whether it's developing film projects or podcasting or whatever it may be. But I've worked in the car business for years as a business development manager for several dealerships. I work in business development and sales pipelining for Fortune 500 companies and several startups. So I'm all over the place.
And what are you doing today besides boxing and beating people up?
Well, in my retired days, I'm currently working on my memoir, Fight to Get to Zero, which is chronicling my life in boxing yet again, but as a self-help tool for individuals who want to find a way to achieve their goals in life. And I currently work as the director of sales for a small tech startup based in New Haven County.
Now, you recently had some surgery.
Yes, I did. I recently had some major hip surgery, which led to the decision to retire.
People don't understand, like his immobility. I've seen it. It's sort of like everything is constrict. Like, how would you express? Like everything, his muscles aren't stretched, right? How would you?
No, I'm hyper contracted, hyper tight, very stiff.
Very stiff.
And you know, you've seen me on my bad days, you've seen me on my good days, you've seen me in winter, you've seen me in summer.
Yeah.
And as I age, it's no picnic. You develop arthritis, and that's partially from hitting things as much as I did, and partially just from wear and tear. I'm aging quicker than 32. but that doesn't mean I'm slowing down at all. You know.
So
I mean, I still enjoy a good cigar every now and
Nice.
then, but that's about it.
So is the cold worse for you?
Wait. That's not all you do.
I do have my medical marijuana card. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've spoken to me when the edibles hit.
Yes. Now, do you use alternative stuff to ease either pain or this is because I'm naive. I'm going to be completely naivety when I ask this question. Is there ever a chance to, not you personally because you're older now, to have this mitigated where this doesn't, the complete effect of cerebral palsy doesn't kick in? I don't know enough.
So basically what CP is it's caused by a lack of oxygen of the brain at some point during an infant's life, whether it's during delivery or in utero or some sort of lack of oxygen event. So, and
is it usually an event that causes it, or is it a mutation causation?
It's usually an event.
That's interesting. See, that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. I thought it was like some kind of. I thought it was a birth mutation. Does that make sense? That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
But it's not.
And that's a common misconception.
Yeah, I mean that's just yeah. That's interesting.
You know.
So that means
born early,
something happened wrong.
Yeah, that's sad.
That's like an
incident.
He had an accident or an incident, and this is what happened. I'm sorry, Ian. You know I love you to death, but that bothers me a little bit now. You know, because I thought it was a mutation that he just had to deal with it. So it was an injury somewhere along the way. Normally during the birthing, or prior to birthing, or just after birth. I mean, explain.
It could be any one of those events. With me, they don't really know when the lack of oxygen occurred or how it occurred. I was born early. I was born at 6 months. I came out at 2 pounds. So.
Right.
So you said you weren't diagnosed till 2. I thought this was a condition that was diagnosed almost instantly.
See, that's what we thought that, but apparently not.
So in today's world, yes, medicine of 32 years ago, they knew that there was some event. They knew that there was a paraventricular nuclear malaise, and no, I will not have you guys spell that.
Never heard that before. I can't even say that, let alone spell it.
That means that the ventricles in the brain were differently shaped for me, which essentially was the cerebral palsy rearing its ugly head, but it wasn't officially diagnosed with sort of parameters until age of 2 at the great facility of Boston Children's, which is probably one of the best pediatric hospitals in the world, and I can't say enough about them, or as an adult, HSS in New York, which is where I had the last surgery.
Were you slow to speak as a youngster? Is that what maybe brought?
I had a weak diaphragm, so I didn't really get a lot of verbal volume. So I didn't really start talking effectively till the age of about 3. I symbol signed quite a bit, but
now were you walking at the age of 2 and 3?
No, I never walked. I never walked functionally. I could stand and pivot transfer, which is just stand up, have somebody grab me under the arms and sit me down.
Right.
But I never really walked functionally. Walking was a goal in physical therapy, but it never occurred as a mode of ambulation.
So that's probably what they was. I mean, because some children don't speak till they're 3-4 years old. Right. So that would be an indication more so that you weren't able to walk properly, or, like you said, just
crawl or
pivot. Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there are other things that occur too. I have difficulty with my left side, extending my left arm, difficulty handwriting.
But your right hand is good, right?
Right hand is the best. Oh yeah, right hand is good. Yep.
Right hand, it works, no problems, everything's good. You can shake hands with anybody. You can do it.
Yeah.
Well, the left hand must feel like someone else is doing it differently if he doesn't have that much power.
You got a new neighbor.
Like a stranger's doing it.
Yeah, like, oh my God, would you get your right hand out?
You never sat on your hand for a couple minutes and then
oh yeah, it's like this.
Yeah, it's like someone else is doing it for you.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's great. It's what you do when you're single. Don't get married, dude.
So Ian's getting married.
I'm sorry to hear that. Everybody's entitled to misery.
Yeah. So Ian, you're getting married?
I'm kidding. Congratulations.
Oh yeah. She's a wonderful person. We've been together for 3 years, and Mike has seen me in my single days when I was a nut.
Wild and crazy
and-
boy.
And you know,
He had him stacked up. He had him stacked up. Let me tell you.
we all need a form of domestication. I'll put it that way. And,
Amen.
And she grounded me. She made me a better person. And someone who's able-bodied, being with somebody like me and adjusting to that life day to day is a privilege. It really, really is. And she makes me a better person and a better communicator.
So how's that adjustment?
It depends on the person. I mean, it depends how open I am about what my limitations and needs are. And it depends on, I'll put it this way. Dating in your 30s when you have a disability is very different than dating in your 20s. And I think that can be said no matter your ability level.
Good or bad?
I think it's better now. I got a lot of female attention in my 20s, but a stable relationship was not something that I saw until I got much older. And
Well, he was a cute, handsome guy, you know. So he, no matter where girls are like a cute puppy, and he was like a little puppy. They would just throw him around, bounce him around, and he had no problem with it. Believe me.
I'm sure.
oh yeah.
So let me ask you, with everything going on, AI and Elon Musk, have you looked into that at all with cerebral palsy? Did I say that right?
Yeah. Cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
Yes, they're not doing any crazy research with it yet, but the research that I have seen, granted I'm no doctor, no scientist, but I would love to see it applied to CP to see what they can do to mitigate some spasticity issues, some contraction issues, improve motor control, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, they could, from what I understand, could almost rewire your entire body if it goes to the full extent of what scientists say that it's going to.
Let me tell you something.
Especially at a young age.
He knows so much. I mean, obviously it's his life, you know, cerebral palsy. But the way he articulates certain, how would I say this? I don't even know how to say it. He articulates quite well the challenges and the potentialities that are at hand with this ailment or whatever is it called, an ailment? I don't even know. Disability.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, it's never been an ailment. It's just my reality, right?
I know, yeah, I tell that. Yeah.
And because if it's my mode of normal, then what's the point of getting negative about it? And that's the way that I approach it.
I mean, he's an inspiration. He really is. He's a pain in the, don't get me wrong. Believe me, he can be, but he's an inspiration. So I love you, by the way.
When did that happen?
I love you too, buddy.
All right, so get all mushy. When did that happen? Because it has been a very, I mean, obviously you must have had a really rough point at some time in your childhood. You know, the one day you wake up and was it boxing? Was it the outlet where you broke out and became the person that you are today?
I think it was really my dad and the way that I was raised. He raised me to be normal. And Mike's met my family. He's never met my biological mother, but he's met my dad. Mm-hmm. And my dad raised me to be normal. He raised me to work, go to school, get good grades, do all the normal things that kids were expected to do. And
his dad sacrificed 20 years of his life.
That's great.
To be honest with you, I mean, you know, he gave up.
Oh, he absolutely, absolutely did.
Yeah, he did. He gave up 20 years of his life to take care of Ian, and that's why Ian has a pretty good grounding. You know, his dad basically sacrificed, and I don't know specifics, but his dad and I spoke at length at times, and I get the impression, although he would never say this, that he gave up even career advancements for his son's cause and sake just to be available. Ian, am I saying the right things?
I don't know that for a fact about the career advancement piece, but I do know.
What, do you think your dad's stupid? What do you think your dad's stupid?
No, but I do know that Dad prioritized his time with me.
Yes, he did.
That's one of the things that I'm really appreciative of, and it's as I start my own family and look forward to that. That's one of the things that I'm going to strive to do with my own kids.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
good
dad's
role model.
Dad's a really good guy. I've been to their house, and he set the whole house up so Ian could have access to whatever he needs. It's just he's got a gym in the house for him. It's just
It's love.
he really dedicated a good portion of his life to it. And other children, correct? Your dad worked with other kids.
My dad was always working with kids. We always had kids at the house, so I never lacked for social interaction. It was we were doing Boy Scouts, and I was out camping in the woods, having my fun and building stuff and learning about fires and knives and all the fun stuff that teenage boys do.
And shooting.
And shooting. I love to shoot. I actually am a big Second Amendment guy.
Nice.
And what the hell? He couldn't run after you, so he's going to learn how to shoot you.
So listen, you got 18 very fast-led friends. You don't need to run.
You don't need to run.
Well, in Connecticut, it's 10, but that's...
Yeah. Don't ever say you have 18 in Connecticut. That's a felony.
I'll tell you what, I always had a good time in Connecticut.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Connecticut's an interesting place, because you have the blue and the red, and they totally hate each other.
What's the New Haven? Is it New Haven, Connecticut?
Yeah.
So I went up to New Haven, Connecticut, and I met this girl, April. Right, we're up there for a police league. Yeah, not now, right? Is that where you met that craziest one?
Pretty much. That's
right. No, dude. Well, it was great. It was a police league. The cops up there were great. They found out we're cops, and old school.
Yeah, old school.
Picked us up, brought us to clubs.
Treated you right.
Call us, because cell phones are fairly new. Call me on my cell phone. I'll come back and get you. They picked us up at the club at 3 o'clock. And the guy's like, "Where's your case of beer?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The owner knows to give you a case of beer." He goes in, and he's in uniform. Walks back into the club. It was a Spanish club that opened up. It was great.
Yeah.
Women were so hot.
I love it.
And he yells at the guy, like, so next thing he brings out a case of beer for us. He goes, "All right, get in. We're going to go over to the titty bar."
Yeah.
So he drives us to the titty bar in a cop car. And, we're in there, and he's outside at 5 a.m. to take us home. But I found a girl in the titty club.
Of course you did.
But she wasn't working. She was there partaking.
Okay, all right.
And I got a ride home by her. And we get in the car, and she goes, "You want a beer?" And I said, "Well, where are you getting a beer at?" 5 a.m. And she just hits that, and it pops open, and there's beers in there. I was like, holy. At that point in my life, I fell in love. If we were in Vegas, I would have married her.
You're easy. A beer and abroad.
Dude,
beer and abroad is good.
I was on my way to the church to wake the priest up to marry us, and my sergeant had to talk me out of it.
Listen, New Haven's not far
dated her
from
for
Vegas,
a month.
except you got Keno and bookies. That's all you got. But
Keno's fun, too. We don't have that down here in PA. There is no Keno like that in bars.
Yeah.
Really?
None. We now have it on like the monitor, but you can buy a ticket, and it's like it goes off at a certain time. I don't even know how it works. It's not like the way you guys do it, where you go to a bar and there's numbers constantly.
All day.
Yeah, we don't have that here at all. It's like a foreign concept. The first time I ever seen it was up in Long Island. I was like, this is great. I can gamble all day.
Yeah.
I was thinking about all my Philly friends. You and I were talking about some of them earlier, and I mean, I learned some great lessons in Philly. Joe Frazier, before he passed, he and I were phone buddies. I never actually got the chance to meet him, but I talked to Joe, and Joe gave me one of the funniest compliments I ever got.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone with him. What do you think of my YouTube videos, Joe? And he goes, "Well, you really sit down on your punches."
Jesus.
And I said, "Are you pulling my leg?" He goes, "No, I'm serious. You really generate power on that hook." And he said,
That's
that-
great. That's
that-
great.
Well, that is a boxing.
Joe Frazier's known for his left hook.
It is a boxing term. The guy sits down on his punches. That's great.
Yeah.
You know what pisses me off about Joe Frazier? He's the real Philly Rocky. And when he died, all these celebrities came out like, I didn't know he's living that way. Joe Frazier's great. Joe Frazier's this. Well, where were you the last year of his life when he's living,
I didn't. How did he go?
Above a garage, broke?
Really?
No one wanted to help him out. But as soon as he died, all the love and flowers came out. It's like, really pissed me off.
I don't like that.
That the people weren't there when he was alive. Yeah. As soon as he passed away, they were all there, front and center. The tweets coming out, and this is that great guy. Well, should have helped him out. And the city of Philadelphia should have done a lot more. In fact, some scumbag cop that I will not name, he's no longer with us. He's dead, so I won't talk ill of the dead.
Okay.
But I didn't like this cop. He's a piece of shit. He locked up Joe Frazier for DUI. And I found that out. I was like, what a scumbag you are. He could have just drove him the hell home, and he wouldn't do it and locked us up. True story. I'm sure the Philly guys know who he are. He's a piece of shit, but rest in peace.
Well, a lot of ex-fighters, no matter how, fan favorite they were, they don't do well, which is why I'm a member of a boxing fraternity in New York that helps ex-fighters called Ring 8. And it was actually started by a whole bunch of ex-NYPD guys.
Oh.
And NYFD and NYPD to help these guys out, because most cops back in the day were ex-fighters at the PAL.
Yeah. Who's the guy who started it? I probably know him.
This was back in the 50s. So the guy who ran it.
That's not.
That checks out.
That's.
Mike's about that old. That checks out. He might know him.
No, I knew the boxers from the 82 to 92, and I knew many of them. Yeah.
So you might know the guy who ran it was Bob Duffy. He was a
go figure.
cop in Harlem.
An Irish guy, an Irish New York cop named Bob Duffy.
Yeah, right. I didn't know Duffy. They knew a Duffy, but not him. Yeah.
So let me ask you: have you seen that kid doing MMA? He's got no lower half.
Kyle Dixon, is that the kid you're talking about?
Is that the one? He's like, he does running, but obviously runs with his arms. You ever see him? He has half a body. He's black kid. He's got the real nice hair. He's jacked, but he's got no lower half. And he's doing wrestling. I think he's played football.
He wins in wrestling too.
He's played football.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah. So would that be someone that would he be able to be placed in a chair and if he wanted to box?
Yeah, we could figure out a way for that to work for him. It all depends on, again, commission approval,
gotcha.
medical evaluation, and that.
I mean, that kid's wrestling able-bodied people and winning.
And winning, yeah.
Like he's an animal.
The question I would ask Ian is this, Ian. The Wheelchair Boxing Association, I guess you would call it, are they active now, and are they actively scheduling fights now?
We are actually working on setting that process up. There is another organization in England. There are two styles. There's the American style, which was my style, where the chairs are stationary.
And the English style, where they go like this.
Yeah, back in 1872 when Mike bought the jacket.
Gentlemen.
So what's the English style?
They move the chairs. They actually wheel the chairs while fighting. I personally find that style to be a little bit dangerous.
Okay.
Because you've got one hand down and you're wheeling the chair, leaving yourself open. That's just my personal view as someone who's been doing this for 18 years. But they seem to do well, and they're in the process of organizing events, and I would love to do a across the pond tournament, U.S. style versus English, and get a transatlantic tournament going. I think that would be a lot of fun.
It's a shame that you can't partake in it anymore. I'm sure that bothers you.
Well, it's funny. I did a lot. I blazed the trail. I had some fun, and now I can be a promoter, a manager, a trainer, an advisor, whatever role they see fit to put me in, I'm happy to fill. Because I have the experience, and, I was just blessed to take the ride.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I have a hard time. I played hockey my whole life, and obviously I'm too old to play now. And I have a hard time watching it because it's something I loved, and I played my entire life. I mean, I played every day. I played every style of hockey every day for 25, 30 years, and now...
He played roller hockey.
Played ice hockey, too, and foot hockey. All three every day I played for most of my life. Foot, roller, and ice.
What position?
We had the best team. We won the championship, all right? I was the center on the winning team, all right? High school championship team. I got to hear this every time he talks about hockey.
I played with professional NHLers.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, a few of them.
Yeah? Where
I practiced with them. I tell you, I reffed I didn't play in the police league. I played in men's leagues. I didn't have any time for that, and they asked me to ref the games. And again, you know how cops can be, and I'm like, I don't want anything to do with it. They're like, listen, we're going to forfeit to the firemen, please, blah, blah, blah. So I go to ref. Wouldn't you know, I'm the one getting in a fight with a cop as a referee.
As the ref.
Yeah, because he didn't like the call. Me and him were going at it. People had to break it up.
Physically fighting?
Oh yeah, I had enough of this. And we went at it. I was that's the first and last time I ever officiated an ice hockey game. True story.
Yeah, I could picture that
told
too.
him to keep the
You are a
fucking
little
money.
hothead. You're a little hothead. I can see that happening.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Now, Mike, you know us both. Which one of us is more of a hothead?
You. you. Yeah, you. Well, I haven't seen you in 3 or 4 years.
Obviously-
And we haven't seen each other since COVID, so
You guys
I
could both
don't
run your
know.
mouth.
He don't stop. Let me tell you something. He
He's quick. I
He
can
yelled at
say
me
it.
on the phone. You know how that's not easy to yell at me and win. You know that.
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
lost the last time we had an argument, so, but he won. He did call me back and apologize though later on about 2-3 days,
Yes.
a couple days
It
later.
took a couple of days. That's great. I love those
Yeah,
ones.
he came back. He said, "I'm sorry, man. I love you." He said, "I was triggered or some shit." He was triggered.
Well, no. In all reality, I had medical PTSD from all the surgeries that I had when I was a kid,
Yeah,
and it severely
sure.
affected my life. And they don't talk about it enough.
right.
What it does to kids. And the way that it represented for me was a temper.
Yeah.
And
Listen,
it took.
Ian, I didn't mean to cut you off. One of our episodes, I believe, is episode
Yes, you
7.
did. You just cut him
Yeah, I
off.
did. I did mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm not apologizing for it. Episode 7 is a Matthew Buckley who's trying to legalize the psychedelic psilocybin,
Yeah, mushrooms.
for PTSD. And it's for he's doing it for military vets, first responders.
Yeah.
I don't know if people with disabilities.
I was going to.
If you'd be able to do that.
I was going to get to ask. I wanted to ask him that.
Yeah, like, and have you heard of Ibogaine? Because
Yes, I
He
have
knows
heard of
everything. He's
Ibogaine.
heard of everything,
Actually,
this
one of my dear friends that I grew up with now supervises microdosing. He grew up with me here in Connecticut, and he does microdosing therapy in Boston, and that was one of the things that we explored. I did do a treatment for my PTSD that worked wonders, called SGB, which is an injection. They did a 60 minutes piece on it. It was phenomenal. And what was amazing about it, and what I always tell people about it, is it cured some of my other symptoms
well,
that were not
is that a psychedelic?
No, it's a nerve block.
Okay.
It was, funnily enough, developed for hot flashes, and then they treated a guy with PTSD who had those symptoms, and his symptoms instantaneously disappeared.
Is that the shot that goes in your neck, in the vein here?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I heard that.
What is it? What's in it? What's in the shot?
As you said, it's a nerve blocker. It's supposed to turn off the receptors that you get anxious or irritability, right?
Was that right?
Yeah. And what was crazy, Mike, and you know this from knowing me, is my left arm went completely normal for months.
Is that now? Would you look into the Ibogaine or getting that shot again? Is that something that?
I got the shot before I went in the hospital for this past surgery.
Okay.
The Ibogaine, I'm researching that now. I want to make sure that there are no crazy side effects with my issues.
Right.
So I got to be very careful with what I put in the body.
I mean, you're crazy already, so that's not the problem.
No,
That's not what you're worried about.
No, I just don't want to end up like the mummy.
That's what it is. You don't want the lobotomy? Is that
Well,
what it is?
me and Mike are going to go down and take that Ibogaine treatment.
Yeah.
And film it.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
As soon as we get a budget. As soon as Dave Portnoy sees this film and picks us up.
Fix up the budget.
Yeah.
Listen, you got to come down to Philly and hang out. I have a few casinos. We can get you some markers.
Yeah.
Or Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to come down to AC.
Yeah, this summer we're going to take him on a little.
Okay.
We'll take him on a little spread. We got to bring his aide though, because I don't want to wipe his. No, your wife will do it. She'll do it. We'll take your wife with us.
Oh, she'll love the trip.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll have some fun. We'll do some. We'll hit the road. He's
Nice.
He's fun. And,
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I know what it's like. It's like having a puppy around too. You know, people are like they want to. No, they do. Ian, am I lying?
They get interested.
Yeah.
Well, listen, his wife's going to be around, so he can't use him as a
be a puppy.
wingman.
You
Yeah,
can't be a puppy.
wingman.
Well, his wife could be a wingman.
Listen, Ian, we're about wrapping this up. Is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah.
Tell us about, promote before we end this?
No, just follow me on Instagram at Two Guns Boxing, and if anyone has any questions about the program or want to include that in their daily life, they can reach out to me there. I want to thank you both for the opportunity. It's been an absolute pleasure, jacket and all.
jacket and all.
Yeah.
that was meant as a double entendre.
Oh, yes.
What do you call it? Double what? Entendre?
Yes.
Yes.
It was a good one. Dude, yeah, it's fantastic, man. Thank you. It was very interesting.
Ian, I love you.
We could go into a lot more.
Yeah.
And we will. We're definitely going to have you back on.
Yeah, we'll do some. We want you in studio so people can get a look at your gorgeous physique after that new
Yeah,
song.
that'd be a great
yes.
time.
I gotta do the pull-ups and drop 20 pounds.
There you go.
We'll,
There you go. Yeah, you and me both. We're both.
We have another studio where it's more relaxed. Mike doesn't like to use it because he looks fat.
True.
True story.
True story. And he doesn't care that he looks fat. So
Yeah, whatever. I've been fat and ugly my whole life. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that.
Just wear an even busier jacket, Mike. You'll be fine.
Oh, I will. I have the other one. Don't worry. I have one coming, in fact.
Yeah.
I heard I got a gold one coming.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. It was a great episode with Ian. You can check him out at Two Guns Boxer on Instagram,
Two
right?
Guns Boxing.
Two Guns Boxing on Instagram. You can check us out at goodcopbadcoppodcast.com, where you can check out all our socials. You can hire me and Mike to speak at your events, whichever one you want. Please like, subscribe, tap all the subscribe buttons, YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, Apple, whatever other, your sisters, whatever. Hit like, subscribe. Please, help us out. Share us. You can buy some gear on our website too. Thanks a lot, guys. Really love what's going on. We have a lot more exciting announcements coming up over the next few episodes, a few podcasts.
Yeah.
And I think you're gonna like what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Love you, buddy.
This episode is sponsored by New Solutions Network, AR Law, PA State Rep Martina White, Biondo Creative, Morrow Flooring, and Pops McCann Whiskey.